Hello there. This is the Shadow Ranger, and these are my picks for Impact Wrestling Slammiversary 2011. Celebrate 9 years. It's a pretty long time. A lot of people start companies that don't last 9 years. I don't even think Nitro lasted 9 years. Well, they come on 95 and in 2001. Did ECW last 9 years? I don't think so. But anyway, let's not talk about history and start talking about this show. Looking at the card on the ImpactWrestling.com page, and I'll start from the bottom and work my way up. Alright, we got Matt Morgan versus Scott Steiner. This match got billed last month, but not that much coming into this pay-per-view. I think what happened is what they were planning on doing it as sacrifice and ended up not having enough space for it on the card and put it here instead. I can't see this feud really doing much for either guy, and I really don't see any reason for Steiner to win. So I'm going to pick Matt Morgan. I think it's a solid win for him, and he can keep moving himself up the card. Samoa Joe versus Crimson. These two been going at it, sort of trying to prove who's tougher type thing, and they moving Joe to complete heel, which I like. But they've been building Crimson up with this whole undefeated streak thing, and he seems like the guy that TNA has decided to get behind. You know, everybody talks about TNA need to build new stars, and and talking about how them not doing it for so long. And maybe it makes me think maybe it was that they were just looking for the right guy, somebody they believed in, they thought had the right persona, the right look they wanted to go with, and Crimson is the guy they've picked. But it seems like that he seems to be the guy they're going to put it all on, put a big focus on, and push him to try to turn him into something big. So, and a win over Samoa Joe will help him along the way. And Joe being a former world champion, it doesn't really hurt him to lose this match. I know a lot of people say Joe being buried, but I disagree. I don't think it hurts Samoa Joe at all to lose this match. He could come out on Impact next week, destroy some X Division dude in 3 minutes, and he's back to being Samoa Joe. So I think Crimson wins. They keep pushing him up on. Well, I'll talk about what happens with Crimson next after the pay-per-view. Let's wait and see what happens at the pay-per-view, and then I'll talk more about what Crimson's going to do. Knockouts Championship, Angelina Love versus Mickie James. I'm surprised that this wasn't Winter in this spot. She's kind of the leader of her little twosome with Angelina, so I expected her to get the title shot. But instead it's Angelina. So it's Mickie James against Zombie Angelina. And it'll be a good match. I can't see Mickie James losing the belt this soon. I have this odd feeling they're going to build up to a face versus face Mickie James and Velvet Sky match down the line, and that'll be when Velvet finally wins the belt. I'm cool with that, but Mickey's got to get a lot of wins to make that match mean something, so I expect her to somehow pull out the win over Zombie Angelina. Maybe Velvet will get involved to keep Winter out of the way, and Mickie can get the win. Last man standing match, Bully Ray versus AJ Styles. Bully Ray's done everything to AJ. He's gotten the best of AJ on almost every way. He's put him through tables and helped Tommy Dreamer injure his neck. They've done a whole lot of stuff to AJ. I think AJ, but I don't see any. I think this feud is going to end here, and there's more, and then Bully Ray's going to move on to something else afterwards. But I think AJ will win. I think they want to end this feud here. AJ gets the win. Bully Ray moves on to something else. I think Bully Ray moves on and maybe goes after Eric Young in the TV title, and AJ can move on to something new too. Not sure what's next for AJ though. That's a question we gotta think about. But we'll see what happens at the pay-per-view. But I'm picking AJ Styles to win. X Division Championship 3-way champion Abyss defends against Kazarian and Brian Kendrick. Now there's an interesting question here with this Destination X thing coming up, and there's rumors of it being like an all X Division pay per view. Do you want to build up to somebody beating Abyss 101 to win that belt back? If so, who would you go with? I really don't want to see Kazarian as X Division champion. He's held that belt plenty of times. He's a guy I think should be going for the television title. Brian Kendrick hasn't been X Division champion, so there's a good bit that he could do with that belt. But Abyss just got it like less than a month ago, so I don't see him losing it now. I think he'll probably do a one-on-one match with Kendrick at Destination X, and Kendrick will win it there. But for this match, I'm gonna say Abyss retains. Tag Team Championships: the British Invasion versus James Storm and Alex Shelley. Alex Shelley is filling in for an injured Robert Roode. I don't know if Robert Roode is injured for real, if that's just storyline. Either way, I see Storm and Shelley winning. I have a hard time believing the British Invasion is going to get the belts now because they've been kind of an afterthought for the past couple of months. But I want to see them in the tag team mix. You really need them in the mix. You got Mexican America around. Hopefully, Beer Money comes back. You know, the Guns are down till next year because of Chris Sabin's injury. So we're not getting the Guns till next year. Meanwhile, Alex Shelley can wrestle in the X Division for a little bit and do some stuff till Sabin comes back. Jesse Neal's a little bit injured, but he should be back soon, and we'll have Ink back then too. But I can't see the Brits getting the belts right now. I think Mexican America's winning those belts with, and I think they can get heat on that with saying, Mexican America won the belts, but they didn't really beat Beer Money. They beat James Storm and a substitute. But we'll talk about that in the future. Storm and Shelley win. The final battle, Jeff Jarrett versus Kurt Angle. The winner becomes #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title, and Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medal is also on the line. Now, I've heard talk about Kurt Angle wanting to go for the 2012 Olympics, and maybe they'll do it in storyline where Jeff Jarrett beats him and takes his medal, so he's going to go win himself another one. I can't see that happening. I don't think they would do that. The fact that this is a #1 contenders match is what makes me say Kurt Angle's going to win above all else, because Jeff Jarrett hasn't been anywhere really near a belt since 2006. Jarrett hasn't held a title since 2006. When he lost to Sting at Bound for Glory, he has not held any championship. He's barely been in a championship match. I can barely recall a championship match that Kurt Angle's been in. Jeff Jarrett's been in, except when they did the Ultimate Sacrifice match. That's the only one I can think of. Plus, the world title match is Anderson versus Sting. I can't see them doing Jeff Jarrett versus Sting again. They did, that was like the Bound for Glory main event 2006. I think we're all past that, and I can't see Jarrett versus Anderson because they're moving Anderson more toward heel. I just can't see that working either. I mean, I just don't think anybody would be interested in seeing Jeff Jarrett versus Anderson for the world title, or Jeff Jarrett versus Sting for the world title. Not now. So that alone makes me say Kurt Angle's going to win. Kurt wins it, finally beats Jeff. He's the #1 contender, and I think Jeff Jarrett's going to be off TV for a little while after this. And main event, World Heavyweight title, Mr. Anderson versus Sting. Anderson's kind of gotten the best of Sting, do it with the whole imitation thing. It's really uncanny just how much he pulls off a good 80s Sting. It's very nice. But I think it's time for Sting's title run to come to an end. Sting won the belt back in March. It's June now. I think he's going to drop it. And everything Sting wants to do, he can really do without the belt. And I think that Anderson's going to get this belt and get actually a good lengthy run with it. I could see Anderson holding his belt till Bound for Glory easily. I'm calling right now Bound for Glory main event. I want Anderson versus AJ Styles as the main event of Bound for Glory. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm going to pick Anderson to beat Sting because Impact ended on Thursday with Sting kind of doing a Heath Ledger Joker thing, rubbing the paint all on his face. That's what I thought when I saw that, and him beating down Anderson and rubbing the paint all over his face. And if you know, in old school wrestling logic, well, wrestling not logic, wrestling history is always dictated that whoever looks strong on the last show before the pay per view is the person who will lose at the pay per view. That's always kind of been the traditional thing. If you look strong, if you're the last person who looks strong on the show before the pay per view, you lose. And Sting, Impact ended with Sting beating down Anderson, standing above him, talking shit. So that makes me think Sting's gonna lose. So I'm gonna call winner and new World Heavyweight Champion Mr. Anderson. A couple of really good matches on this pay per view. I'm looking forward to Crimson and Samoa Joe. I'm looking forward to Angelina and Mickey. Looking forward to Bully Ray and AJ Styles. Looking forward to Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle. Anderson and Sting is something I want to see. Matt Morgan and Stein, not that interested in it, but I like excuse me. I like Matt Morgan, and we'll probably get a hilarious Scott Steiner promo, which is always a good thing. So yeah, sounds like it's going to be a good show. So after I see the show, I will come back and we'll talk about the results and where we go from there. Alright, so one more time, just going through. Matt Morgan to defeat Scott Steiner. Crimson will be Samoa Joe. Mickey James defeats Angelina. AJ Styles defeats Bully Ray. Abyss defeats Kazarian and Brian Kendrick. James Storm and Alex Shelley defeat the British Invasion. Kurt Angle defeats Jeff Jarrett. And Mr. Anderson defeats Sting to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Alright, this is the Shadow Ranger. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.